What up, guys? Welcome back to Chop Chop. And today's episode is brought to you by fucking nobody, because I like to cuss and make your mom jokes and drink beer, and I don't really care what people think. So today's episode of Eppy Chop Shop is brought to you by fucking me. Anyway, back on the Cadillac, we got her sitting, well, she's level this way. Front to back, not so much. It's probably damn close, if I'm being honest. But, yeah. So, quick little update. My thumb has healed up surprisingly well. It's been like 3 weeks, and I'm really impressed. If you caught the last episode, at the very end of it, this thing tried to smash the tip of my thumb off, and it damn near succeeded. It was pretty rough. Should have gotten stitches. Did not get stitches. Can't believe I'm healed up the way that I am. Maybe I'm part Wolverine. I'm a superhero. But, yeah. So where we stand is in those 3 weeks, I think this thing settled. Because when I come back out here, the oil pan was sitting back on the cross member, despite the fact that I notched it, and I could not get the drive shaft in. So I couldn't scoot the engine forward. I tried for like 2 hours to get this thing sat back up the way that I had it. Couldn't do it. So that's the thing I can think of. So the only thing I can think of is that the rubber or whatever settled, engine lowered itself, nothing fit. So since then, I've had the engine in and out like 10 times. Cut out the old notch that I made. In fact, I had to cut forward like probably 2 more inches. I have to rebox that back in. But I have the car sitting level this way. The engine is level, and the engine is square, assuming the bumper mounts are square. So I used the balancer and the bumper brackets with the angle iron to square this thing up, and it's level. At this point, I think I'm going to tack in at least the lower part of the motor mounts, because if you can see, the upper part of the motor mount doesn't really touch. So we'll address that in a minute. But we can weld the lower sections in and get them stationary. This side I ain't even mad at. If anything, maybe we can burn this side in pretty good and then just whack that top with a hammer and bend that flange down. But after we get those motor mounts at least tacked in, I don't want to full ass burn them yet. I don't want to end up taking 2 steps forward and 14 back like I just fucking did. But after that, I want to address the cross member. And again, if you were here last time, they had done that. What was it? What did I measure it? Was it 18 inches or something? That extension on the cross member that was drooping like a donkey dick. We cut that all off, re-welded the factory bracket, and we're just going to scoot the cross member forward, which does raise another problem because this whole thing is boxed. So I've got like 1/8 inch plate on top of the frame to drill through to run any bolts through. So I'll have to drill a big hole to get a socket in, and then on the top I have to drill a smaller hole for the bolt to go through, which kind of sounds like a nightmare. So I'm kind of thinking about maybe welding some angle iron brackets onto the frame and drilling new holes in the transmission cross member and holes in these, bolting it all together. I'm not that concerned about it. They're not really supporting any weight because the cross member goes on top of the frame. So the only thing they're going to do is keep that cross member from moving back and forth. So I don't know. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But so let's go ahead and tack these in. Oh! I haven't opened this yet. It's been Christmas. Christmas happened. Christmas. Yee! My wife got me a new welding helmet that I have not opened yet. Can I do it one-handed? Oh, of course they tape the sides of it. Okay. Power bombed the phone, but we are back. We are back. Not that this is going to make me a fantabulous welder or anything, but my old one was just a super cheapie, and I think the battery had died or the sensor was going bad. I should have used my freaking tripod or something. Jesus. It's my first YouTube video, guys. I don't know what I'm doing here. Yeah. Got it. Don't worry. Oh yeah, it needs stickers. There, that's more good. So we got the Black Widow muffler, Black Widow. You know I gotta rock that DJM. Even though Sandy doesn't have any, literally all the DJM stuff is gone. That's kind of sad. In case you don't know, if you order from DJM and hit them with code EPPIES after purchase, they will refund your shipping. So hit them up, and you know, as always, shout out to them because they supplied the way that Sandy used to sit, the drop beams, shackles, hangers, spring or shocks, everything all came from them. So eternally grateful for them. And then the Hellfighters. I don't know if you were, kind of wrinkled that sticker, but it's fine. If you were not familiar with this place, it's super worth checking out in Laurel, Mississippi. What this place is, it's a giant motorcycle and gun shop, but they help men in need. So men who've struggled with drugs and alcoholism, blah, 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 they provide them with schooling and counseling and a job, I believe even a place to stay, and employ them while they're going through all these services. So definitely check that place out. It's a super dope place. But anyways, we also got a ring compressor and a ring filer. So after I get the flat top pistons pressed into the rods, we can pretty much assemble the bottom end for the F100. After that, I need to get my cam and my head gaskets and head bolts, and we'll have a long block. So anyway, rubble. Let's tack these motor mounts in real quick, and we'll be back. Alright, so we're plumb level square. Just a few quick little tacks just to hold those in place, and I'll move on to this cross member. And I don't know. So you can see what I'm talking about now, where they've boxed this whole thing in. So and it looks like they had a plasma cutter, which I do not have, which is going to leave me having to drill through both of these layers and then the top portion of the frame too to get to these holes. Fuck me. So I do have a new hole saw, or not a hole saw, a very bit. I did buy the good one. So I think I'm going to try that and see how much this fights me. If it doesn't fight me too hard, the top won't be bad. Oh, yes. So, got this side. It wasn't so bad, actually. So, I ended up using... This is Harbor Freight's medium grade. I forget what brand it is. But this is their tweener. It's not the cheap one, not the expensive one. This motherfucker does work, like for real. So I'm using this guy to do my initial hole. Ooh, wait. There's a perfect your mom joke right here. Ah, just the way she likes it. That's one in the pink, one in the stink though. Don't you normally do? I can't fit. Whatever. Anyway, so this bit to this bit. And then I'm just using a variant of drill bits. So we're doing big ass holes, and then you can see I already got both the bolts in there, nuts up on top. So this side's done. Now I just gotta do that frickin' side. Alright guys, so I think I'm gonna wrap it up for the night. Be back over on this other side probably tomorrow. It's New Year's Eve, and you know I want a beer, so I'm out. Boom! A couple days later, I got the holes drilled on the other side while cleaning up the floor dry from the mess I made last time. I believe I swept up some of the hardware, which is in there. So I happen to have some nice grade 8 hardware laying around, so I'm going to swap out both sides so they match. And where we stand at this point, like I said, I got all 4 holes drilled. I think I'm going to pull this engine for the last time. Probably repaint the cross member, because in the previous video I did paint it, but I got impatient. I started dinking around with it, and I've since, you know, smacked it with a hammer a few times, had it in and out of the car 20 times. So I've scratched it and finger painted it back up. But I'm gonna pull it out. I'm probably gonna grind down the previous welds too, because it looks like crap. You're probably never gonna see it again. But the welds I did on the top are decent. The welds on the bottom just look like total dog dick. So I'll grind those down, repaint it. And when this is out, we will final weld our motor mounts in. I might do some more cleaning up in here. I wish it was warm. I wish it was warm and this thing was easier to roll around, because I would totally pressure wash this frame real quick and sling some paint on it. Motor needs the same thing. Oh, why's it gotta be cold? That's super what I need to do next is clean and paint everything. Oh, day. Engine out. What do you got now? What is that even? I don't even know what that is. What is this? Jeez. Okay. So, engine is out. I said we got our mounts tacked on each side. And look at how big of a notch I had to cut to clear that pan. And again, I mentioned this before, I'm not the first person doing this swap. And if you'll notice in some of the other videos, pretty much they were able to just run these adapter mounts, use the factory small block Chevy mounts, and kind of just make this happen. But this is all reinforced, like all the way through. And if you look in here, like this is the Cadillac's original cross member. And what's that, a good inch? This cross member is sitting higher. See, it's double plated right here. And then for whatever reason, I don't know if they just couldn't bend this thick metal that much or what. So yeah, we're an inch higher in the center here. But so yeah, I need to box this in again. And I think the way that I'm going to do that is I just had this random piece of metal laying around. It's just a smidgen too wide, which is fine. Well, we can grind it down or open the hole just a little bit more. But I think I'm just going to bend this piece of metal and try and get it in there. Maybe. Move it down a little. Hit it with the reverse a few more times. Move it down a little. A little more purse action. I should probably take this out and see where we look. Which, I mean, obviously I can unbend it just easily. Well, I can bend it, but see what she look like. Fuck my life. Alright, so this shit's pissing me off. Straight up. I try not necessarily bad mouth products, but I am real hit and miss on my Eastwood. First and foremost, none of this shit in this is like interchangeable. You have to buy specific Eastwood shit, which means I can't go to the hardware store and simply pick up a new tip. I have to buy an Eastwood tip because it's a different thread pitch than all the other fucking ones. So nothing, that sucks. And then, and this could maybe be a me thing, but look at this. This is the second time it's done this since I've done a 1-inch weld. Second time this has happened, and very much not the first time. Fucking annoying.
Hey, fucking embarrassing.
So now, this is the second time I've had to rerun this thing, wasting what? 8, 10 or more feet of wire. So that's super cool. Isn't it, Midas? Super cool. Boom. Alright guys, that's motor mounts in. And again, I'm no pro welder, but those aren't going to go nowhere. And significantly better than the way they looked when I got here. So, I don't think that's going to go anywhere. There are plenty in there. I don't know if you caught it in the video or not, or even if I'm going to leave it in here or not. But I went around and hit some tack welds across the bottom of this, because this top part was sticking upward. My plan was to smack it with a hammer to knock it down, which it did do, but it also split this rivet. So I had to knock down the lower part, weld it, and then push down on the top part and weld it too. So that's why that's like double stacked like that. And I'm kind of glad that I had to redo this. Again, I am no fantabulous welder, but A, that turned out better than it was, and way more clearance. So that's where we stand, guys. At this point, like I said, I need some degreaser and some paint and the pressure washer, and I don't have any of that but the pressure washer, and it's cold, so it's probably going to be beer 30 sooner than later. Let's see where we come back to. Alright, so I ended up cleaning up the cross member, all the previous booger welds that were on it. Did a little more welding on it just to make me a little more comfortable. Also, just did a real quick mask coat on here just so it's not bare metal. I think at this point in time, I'm gonna maybe pull the transmission off of the engine, get it on the stand, and this should pressure wash pretty good. I wish I had some degreaser. I totally don't. I don't feel like leaving. Do need beer. I guess I could get... Why don't they sell beer at the hardware store or at the car parts store? I feel like...
Okay, fine. But I'm gonna complain the whole time.
My man, I know that you kind of look like you want to go inside, but it looks like... Is that poop? Is that poop? All up in your... it's so gross. Wow. Beer acquired. Paint acquired. Degreaser acquired. No thanks to you. Alright, so at this point in time, I'm gonna degrease this thing, clean her up. I did put some bolts in here. They are the wrong size, but they're literally just, I don't even know if they need to be there. I'm going to assume that goes into a coolant passage. I do not know, which is probably just fine. Not that I want water hanging out in here, hard well water anyways, but I'm probably going to cover these up a little bit more good, just to make sure, again, I don't get any water into the engine, because she's pretty grody. Same thing with the transmission. So we're going to degrease this thing, hit it with the pressure washer, and then probably bring it in, get it out of the way, pick up the garage some more, and hopefully someone's gonna show up to help me push this heavy bitch outside so I can pressure wash it too, bring it back in. You guys ready? I'm pretending to be excited about an LS engine. I'm actually pretty excited. It turned out really good. So, boom! Ended up, there's still a little bit of crud on here. But yeah, degreased and pressure washed twice. I used my little super cheapy Harbor Freight sandblaster, took the valve covers off and hit them. They appeared to have liked that. And obviously we got the car intake on here. We still got to get the, apparently there's a different set of coolant lines that you run for underneath the car intake manifold, because this came out of a truck, as I've stated before. Yeah, so the intake's sitting there, coil packs are just hanging out, headers are test fitted, painted the motor mounts so they're not that gaudy red anymore. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. It looks good. The only, I'm assuming you can probably get angled spark plug wires, because this is going to be an issue. I know these are going to tighten up a little bit because I don't have the gasket in this one, But that's not gonna work. So I have a feeling these are gonna end up getting a good old torch and a dent. But yeah. Sorry, I believe I got cut off there. My cousin called because he is on his way here and forgot to call me sooner. I need to get this thing off the jack stands, get all the shit out of the way because it's the Cadillac's turn to get some degreasing and pressure washed. And as you can tell, I have all of the everything in the way. So let's move some shit. Ah, you're as bad as Midas. Watch your booty. Got a guest dog in the garage. Got that cooler. Watch that cooler. This damn thing is so heavy. Had to use the Jeep to pull it forward, and now we're having to drive back to the backyard. Use Jeep to pull it back. Also noticed that the rear axle is not centered. Because when this side comes down, it gets into the tire, which it's been doing for a while, it looks like. But on the other side, it's got room for days. But yeah, got her all pressure washed. Ready to get her rolled back in here. Blow it off, spray some paint, and then we're getting closer actually putting that thing in there permanently. And that, my friends, or this, my friends, that's where we're gonna wrap up the day. We got engine all cleaned up, transmission all cleaned up, motor mounts, cross member painted, and pressure washed under the hood real quick. Mainly all I was going for is I really just want to be able to paint these frame rails, and what I just did, which I did shoot a real quick coat on it real quick just so they weren't bare metal, but so I got some flat black I'm going to hit them with. Again, I don't know what his full plans are for this car, but at least when I'm done, everything will be painted and not rusting and be ready for whatever his future plans are for it. But like I said, so I'm wrapping up the night. I'm gross. I need to make some dinner, finish this beer, maybe wash my balls, and we will likely be back out here tomorrow. So stay tuned. This thing turned out good, man. I'm definitely got paint flakes all the way over here. Definitely not an LS guy, but this thing out of the car. Maybe I'm just used to how gross it was because it was so freaking disgusting before. It was one of the greasiest, oily, soaked engines I've ever seen. But she cleaned up good. She definitely cleaned up good. But again, food, balls, beer, washy, drinky. Next day, I've been out here this morning and just hit it with some flat black. You can see it's still glossy right now. Everything's still drying. But I'm gonna let this set up for a little bit. Got the heat cranked up, hoping that'll help it dry a little bit. And once that's set up, we're gonna stab that engine and transmission back in there. Actually bolt in the cross member for the first time, and drive shaft for the first time. Maybe even set it up the way that it currently is. And might be getting a little bit froggy, but maybe lay out the wiring harness and just kind of see how everything's going to lay in there. Again, this is still just like mock-up and test fitting everything. But yeah, let's wait for some paint to dry and we will get that stabbed in there. Okay, so real quick, I promise. Next, we're putting the engine in. I promise. But I was digging around in the car, found out he had this nice little serpentine set up. So I figured I would test fit that, make sure she was all good to go. Basically, I ended up stealing the pulley off of the tensioner over here. I got to get the pulley off the. You can't have my water, sir. You can't. That's mine. Off the power steering pump to get it off, but then it will bolt down here. What's in here? It's a nice clean little setup. But I am waiting on. I think he's replacing this water pump. I'm pretty sure. But also, we got the fat man. We got that fat boy in here. He never comes out in the garage and hangs out with me no more, does he? Does he? We got your fat boy. Alright, fellas, here we go. Managed to not bugger up the transmission and everything, getting it bolted together. Now we gotta try to do this by ourselves without scratching the shit out of everything. Don't fall on me. This engine has already fallen on me once. You don't do it. I also should have switched cherry pickers because the wheels on this one don't, well, they roll, but they pivot, so they don't do for whatever reason. Which, you know, makes it so awesome when I'm trying to roll forward. I don't have the car up as high as I did before. Dang it. Alright. Now we should have clearance. Again, try not to scratch the shit out of everything. This is the first time the motor's going in with motor mounts in place, so previously I was able to just plop it down on the cross member. Now I have to clear those motor mounts. Not a flash in my light. Transmission jacked up. Seems to have gotten us real close. Boom. Motor mounts in. Just gotta do that cross member. And boom. Motherfuckers. Kaboom, motherfuckers. That is engine, transmission, and drive shaft in. Personal opinion. Are you coming in, Midas? I see you opening my door. Well, come here. Come here. What are you doing? Personal opinion. I made it happen, but it was very, very tight. And this being a low rider, the suspension is going to go up and down. I'm going to recommend shortening that drive shaft. Again, it's in there. But I just, like I said, it's going to be going up and down. I just recommend it. But, here you be, guys. I didn't square up the intake mode. But, there, that's more good. We're in there, guys. I'm going to zoom in and kick on the flashlight so you can see what the freak I'm talking about. So, we do have room there, like I said. It'll probably be alright. I would just wrap it, like I said. Down there. Do have plenty of room. You can really get you in there. Kind of, sort of, not really. But, I mean, there's room for days. On this side, I don't see any problems. Any problems at all. We are clear and good to go. I even threw the accessory bracket back on it real quick. Fuck yeah. So, there you be, guys. I did double check. We were still square. I don't know if we're level or not, but the car's not sitting level. I wouldn't assume. So, but hell yeah, guys, this is where I'm going to wrap up this video. That was a lot of work to get done in, what, 2 days by myself. So, I'm going to count this up as a win. And I'm going to take the wife out to dinner, have me a couple brewskis, and meet up with some friends. But before I go, and before you go, don't forget to fucking subscribe. Most of my viewers are not subscribed. Fun fact. And hit the dingly bell. Hit the dingly bell so you know when Eppy's Chop Shop posts a new video. Do it.